From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fitness check update of 2021. In today's recording, we go over the breaking news and the major vote on that recon teed up for Tuesday. Oh my goodness, so much incredible great news. In this recording, we'll go over that MSC, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, the big payout under fourth stimulus recon, and the major vote happening on Tuesday that'll make the recon easier to pass. The Senate changes that are about to be done on Tuesday. And the programs multiple checks in this recon of about $15,000 before we get to even those MSCs coming up in this recording. Then we turn back into third stimulus and the big money that's going out across the board. $45,000 viewers got earlier than last year, but still getting another round today. I'm going to show you how you get more of this money on Mornings, live and direct from Santa Monica, California, this big, bold, beautiful weekend. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that. This stimulus, the latest details on that. With a 5.9% COLA raise coming in this month of January. But we also have the breaking news about a big inflationary jump, the new concerns about Omicron and its impact on inflation. But the big message of the moment, the big message of the hour, is that major vote on Tuesday. Chuck Schumer calling a major vote that'll make it easier to pass your fourth stimulus recon. It's very exciting. With an MSC on point, an MSC at issue, and lots of money across the board. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and the bacon, it's just still missing. It's another year and the bacon's still missing. I mean, what can I do about this? It's a big, bold, beautiful day. I'm excited you're here. Let's get to the deliciousness as Mornings LA kicks up his feet and starts right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. And here we go. And we have bad audio. Bad audio? Come on already. Well, it'll clear up. In this recording, we go over the incredible checks in this incredible recon and the big sums of money. Maybe we can key up some audio to clear it out. And it did. No, it did. Okay, who cares? In this recording, we go over the incredible checks in this Senate changes that are coming across the board. Those incredible checks and then recon details coming up in the next 2 days. The incredible programs across this incredible recon and the recon provisions that were likely to be added. All those incredible details and more as we go into a big, bold, beautiful morning. I'm excited you're here, but first go into this video and hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right onto this incredible video and become part of this incredible channel to learn about all the incredible sums of money across the board that you can get. Because guess what? The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. In today's recording, there's so much across the board and so much happening. I want you to know all those incredible details. We're going to go right into all these incredible recon checks. I'm going to go over each of them one at a time. And we're going to start with the 3 clusters and the 3 add-ons. And they start right now, starting with the first cluster. That first cluster of checks, all the clusters of checks have at least $15,000 across the board. And here we go. 3 clusters, 3 add-ons, and let's go over each of them starting right now. In that first cluster of checks, here we go. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of advocate, the big money across the board, $4,000 of care for young children, and the household tax credit, the money to repair the home, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, and also the repairs to the home across the board. The first add-on of checks comes from the illustrious Maxine Waters here from Southern California. She wanted to get that money in there. And what did she get in there? $25,000 for purchase of a new home across the board. Incredible details, and that is where the delicious kicks in. $25,000 she want to give you, it's going to be a little bit less. And wow, here we go. Now, That is the first of several add-ons. Then we go to the incredible sums of money thereafter, and there is a lot of it, and a lot of deliciousness. Well, what are we looking at? How much money? How many details? How many provisions? What do they look like? And what are they at issue? Let's go over each of them one at a time. Maxine Waters at $25,000 is the first add-on, but we go right into then the second cluster checks, and the second cluster checks eats up right now. Here we go. In that second cluster, we got in there home repairs and paid leave. Wow, incredible sums of money across the board. Home repairs, if you live in a low-income community, this is also the weatherized home. Paid leave, how much is it? $1,700 if you make $70,000 more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 more per year. How many weeks per year? Up to 4 weeks per year. Wow. Incredible details across the board. Now, if you don't work, but your son or family members do work, they're going to get the checks across the board as well. Those incredible details and more coming up later in this recording. Let's go to the second add-on of checks. And that second add-on, as the audio clears up, kicks in right now. And that second add-on of checks comes at $250 billion of home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. This is the Bob Casey provision that got in there. He wanted to get that big sums of money across the board added in there. Again, $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disability. Let's go to the third cluster of checks. Here we go. And that third cluster of checks is the big money for seniors and free internet. Free school meals for all checks. Cheaper prescription medication. Immigration reform removed. Then they got in there the money for the farmers. The money for the free internet. They also got in there the incredible money for the farmers, the free internet, the independent contractors. And then when we talk about the seniors, 2 provisions in there on the House side, 2 provisions coming on the Senate side. Let's look at those details starting right now. On the House side, they got in there the Medicaid gap fix, and they got in there also the hearing. The senators vow to add in their dental vision and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to as low as potentially 55. Which brings us to the third add-on of checks, and you know what those are? MSC. MSC refers to monthly or multiple IRS stimulus checks. Let's go over what we know about them, the eligibility, the amount, the details, the voting, and everything else starting right now. Back in the month of May, viewers picked up the phone and advocated for its inclusion and were told by countless 6 senators, thousands, tens of thousands of viewers were told it's going in there. Who is eligible, said those senators. Single individuals, $75,000 less, we get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, we get it. Double it. Family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you get as well. Eligibility would be the same as a third stimulus check. Next, how much? They had talked about $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months across the board. When we talk about the MSC, what do we need to know? First, it is not income. It's not taxable. Second, it's nationwide. It's not state by state or county by county. Number 3, it is offered nationally. Next, we refer to it as MSC because this is an instrument that come out from IRS, but there are multiple checks already in this recon, at least $15,000 to $60,000 of checks. This is the one that would come from those legislators and be paid out by IRS. Now, let's go over the nuances of where it is, how it is, and what you need to know across the board on that as well. When we talk about the 4th stimulus recon, aka the Build Back Better Act, or the BBB, this is what you need to know. It's sort of like the Monaco Grand Prix. You're in the car race, you're going around the course, you're about to get to the finish line, and then they said, "Can you pull over to the side, sir?" "Why?" "We're not going to have a croissant break." "But I don't even like croissants." Yeah, so they pulled over the race to the side, and we're having a croissant break. A lot of butter, I know. So, here's what you need to know. Not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. They never got to writing the actual bill on the Senate side. It was passed on the House, sent to the Senate. You got that. But senators never got to do their Senate version of the bill. which would require going to a Senate subcommittee, modifying the legislation, removing provisions, adding provisions. They never got to that. Doesn't mean they're not going to. They just didn't get to it because of all the dramatics. They will get to it, but they haven't got to it just yet. Bernie Sanders has a lot to add in there. Ron Wyden has a lot to add in there. Liz Warren, Chuck Schumer, they all have a lot to get in there. That's number one. Number two, that's the Senate subcommittee. After they're done and have a bill, which they don't even have yet, then they call vote, then they go to vote-a-rama. That hasn't even happened as well. So if you're on the front porch and the neighbor's son says, you know what, it's not in there, the response is, what's it? Because there is no it. They don't have the bill. I haven't done the bill at all across the board. Number two, it's important to understand that this channel is number 3 financial news channel in America right now. But number 1 on the subject matter. Why? Because you are so powerful, Purple Power. You are so powerful. There is a lot of advocacy out there for provisions to be added to this recon. And a lot of advocacy to remove provisions as well. The American petition is one of many instruments out there. Now, into no disrespect to the American petition, but there are some places elsewhere, print, cable, YouTube channels, they just want to talk about the American petition. My response is, God bless you, but we're a hell of a lot bigger than the American petition. And I have every right to say that because you've done that. The American petition in the month of October had 3 million signatures. At that time, this channel had more phone calls to legislators than that. How big is our advocacy at this point? We're at about 9 million. The American petition is about 3 million signatures. Signatures versus phone calls, totally different. When you take a pen and sign your name, no one knows why you want the thing. You're just signing a thing that was written by someone else. So a signature is not as helpful as a phone call. This channel has delivered far more, 300% more at least, than the American petition. In the month of October, the number 1 guy on that recon, his chief of staff, not a staffer, his chief of staff, said at that point in October, we had delivered more advocacy than the American petition across the board. Now we have grown even bigger. We're going right into advocacy of that MSC right now, which is important for you to know across the board. And that advocacy is not far done yet. I want to go over what you need to know when you're looking at this incredible recon. When you're looking at this incredible recon, it's important to advocate until we are over the finish line. Let's read what that message says for the number 1 guy in that recon to the viewership of this channel. And let's also understand the importance of advocating to those senators. This is what that message from one of the 6 people you're seeing on camera right now said at the time of October. They now have a total between congressional senators' offices receive more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. That was then. That was then. We were more than the American petition in October. We've now blown the American petition out of the water. They now have been understanding what Americans are going through than a bunch of signatures in the American petition. They have heartbreaking stories and they voice the people across the nation, and you, LALATE, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Please continue your advocacy as a professional voice of the people until this becomes law. Why is this so important? Because some people are using the American petition as a news story. Well, if that is a news story, then you're the lead story and the American petition is the back of the paper, because you have delivered a far more than the American petition. Now, let's go over your advocacy right now and what it looks like in this week of January 15th, 16th, 17th of 2022. When we do advocacy, it looks different based upon where the legislation is. You and I know that the legislation is not going to get passed tomorrow, not called for a vote tomorrow. So why is the advocacy still important? Because these legislators are elected to represent your interests. They are government, they are public servants. Many of them started on the city level, in the county, then worked up to the state. They're here to represent your interests. Those people I just showed you, those 6 people, they have always represented people's interests beyond just the people in their state. Liz Warren, representing students' interests across the nation. Bernie Sanders representing seniors all across the nation, not just their home state. That's why they're wonderful human beings and wonderful elected officials. But they need to know why you need something. And that's why you need to keep them in the loop. You may have called in the month of August to advocate. You may be called in the month of December to advocate. They need to still know that you need the money. They don't know it unless you tell them. So pick up the phone and contact their chief of staff sporadically, occasionally, once a week at least, and say why you need it. Because guess what? Your story may be a lot different today than it was in December. Maybe you have Omicron. Maybe something happened to your business. Maybe something happened to your family. Maybe something is quite different across the board. You need to advocate, and that advocacy doesn't stop. And you need to advocate for everything in this recon. Len, Glenn, and Ryan and other people like the first-time home purchase money. You may like the home repair money. You may like the CTC, or you may like the MSC. You need to advocate for every single thing you think you're entitled to by picking up the phone and contacting Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. In the second half of this video, we'll go over all the dramatics of what this guy, Chuck Schumer, has teed up for Tuesday. It's big. It's very, very important. On Tuesday, a major vote will be happening, and it indicates where this recon is going. And boy, it is dramatics like you've never seen ever on the History of this channel. It's coming up in less than 24 hours, 48 hours from now, and I'll go over what is happening on Tuesday. Then we'll go over the set of changes of the Incredible Recon. We'll go over the programs that are in that recon as well, and the more checks that are being added across the board. We'll be turning back over to the exciting developing details of third stimulus and how you get another round of that money as well. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that. Plus, your 5.9% increase of COLA benefits. Could you be seeing more? And what is the impact of Omicron on inflation? What are the new numbers about inflation that came in as we went into the weekend? Those details and more as we go into the second half. It's a big, bold, beautiful live broadcast direct from Santa Monica, California. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And excitement continues right now as LLA goes into the second half of this big, bold, beautiful morning's broadcast direct from Santa Monica, live on air with a full room of live chatters. I'll be jumping in the live chat with you in just a second. The Senate changes coming on Tuesday are critical to a programs that have at least $15,000 of checks. I'll go over that major vote happening on Tuesday right in just 10 seconds from now. It is a dramatic developing detail. It's something you've never seen in this History of this channel, and it's happening in less than 48 hours. The big money for third stimulus. Viewers are getting big sums of money again. I'll explain to you how you can get big sums of money right now. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details of that. Plus, fifth stimulus, your 5.9% COLA raise. What does that mean in the view of fifth stimulus right behind that? Plus, what happened with the labor numbers that came in on Friday. All those incredible details and more as we go into a big second half. I'm excited you're here. But first, I want you part of this incredible family. Go right under this video and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member to the #3 most watched financial news channel in America, LALATE, covering all the incredible sums of money and getting it for you daily. This channel has now grown to the #3 most watched in America, but #1 on this subject matter. It all involves knowing all the nuances, the details, the voting, and the processes all covered in today's video and more. We got a lot of shows coming up later today. We have noontime coming up 11 a.m. and then we have a 1 o'clock and a 3 o'clock afternoon show, and then 5 evening shows thereafter. Big, bold, beautiful day. And with that, let's go into all the dramatics of what's unfolding with Chuck Schumer and that major vote happening in just a few hours. As we go into a Tuesday, what's going on? And let me explain all the details for you. And it's a little bit complicated, but we're going to make it simple across the board. On Tuesday, a major vote will happen in the House, in the Senate floor. And it's a vote like we've never seen in the History Channel. Usually when I report something, I can tell you what's going on. And usually I have an understanding of why it's being done. This one is a cliffhanger like we've never seen before. We know certain elements of the lead up, but we don't know the full story because Chuck Schumer's keeping it a secret. What the Chuck? Yeah, it's back on this channel. During the commercial break, Double C said, it's always Tuesday, it's always Wednesday, it's always another day. No, this one's Tuesday. Now, this Tuesday does not mean you're sent out a check on Tuesday. But this Tuesday will signal a way to get the check to you easier. What's going on? It starts with last Friday. Last Friday, Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives passed a body of law, a bill, called the Voting Rights Initiative. It doesn't send you out money. It's just a body of legislation called the Voting Rights Legislation. They now have sent it to the Senate. What's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is a strategy move. It is basically handing off a baton, passing the football to Chuck Schumer, to have Chuck Schumer get it and set it up for a dramatic cliffhanger. What's going on? This is what we know so far. On Tuesday, Chuck Schumer will call the vote on that body of legislation that Nancy in the House of Representatives passed on Friday, the Voting Rights Initiative. Chuck Schumer says that. It will happen. Number two, we also know that on Tuesday, when Chuck calls it for a vote, the Republicans will try and potentially will block it. That's the setup. This is exactly like a reality TV show. It's exactly like a nighttime drama on TV. We know that so far. Next, we also know the next step, which is where this becomes important for your wallet. Once he calls the vote on the Voting Rights Initiative and the Republicans block it, then he's going to say, okay, so you blocked it? Well, on a call vote to change the Senate rules. Wow. Okay. Sound like a setup? It is. Sound like a dramatic moment? It is. Sound like a cliffhanger? It is. It's just like, when Pam dreamed that entire season when Bobby was dead. And then she goes to shower and Bobby's in the shower and she's like, I just dreamed an entire season of Dallas. That's what's happening. We know that there's a cliffhanger happening on Tuesday, but there's a problem. We don't know where the cliffhanger is going because Chuck is deliberately not telling us. Why? Because it's part of his strategy move. This is what we believe is happening, that he is going to call the vote after the Voting Rights Initiative is blocked by the Republicans, to call vote to change the Senate rules. That he's going to rely upon every single Democrat, current, past, present, and presidents, to change the Senate rules. He's going to have Barack Obama. He's going to have Bill Clinton. He's even going to have Robert Byrd. Yeah, the bird bath guy. Loves the babe. He's going to even have Robert Byrd say, we need to change the rules. Wow. If they change the rules, it'll make it easier to do your fourth stimulus recon. Wow. Now, you may say, well, I thought the fourth stimulus recon just needs Democratic votes, doesn't need Republican votes. That's true, but it makes it easier to pass it if these Senate rules get done. Now, if they get the Senate rules done, it makes it easier to do the recon. If they don't get the Senate rules done, they can still do the recon. But this is why they are using a basic scapegoat, straw excuse of a body of legislation, the voting rights, to cause the Republicans to ambush them on purpose. And then they say, you're ambushing us again, or change the Senate rules. And once they change the Senate rules, then everything behind it comes forward. Now, here's what you need to know, is that I can run a lot of quotes on this channel, but I'd rather run a quote from the highest point. And that's the President of the United States. The President of the United States, his chief of staff, his White House spokesperson, Andrew Bates, in the last 24 hours said, your fourth stimulus recon is going to become law. It's going to become law. Ultimately, it's the President of the United States who determines policy. He's the guy that determines what becomes law. And I can run a lot of other quotes. I got, nearly 120, 30 pages of notes on set. And there are representatives who represent 2,000 people in some outlying state in the Midwest who say, I don't know about the recon. Am I going to run their quote? No, because they don't guide policy. The White House does. Andrew Bates's comments today, or in the last 24 hours, are incredible. He says, every major economic bill that the White House, Biden, has put forward has been passed, like the American Rescue Plan, the second stimulus package, like the bipartisan infrastructure. But they've all seen ups and downs, meaning we've had difficult times and we've had great times. But they've all passed, and they've required doing some work while turning out the noise. And he says the recon will pass. Now, a lot in that quote. First, the recon will pass. That's the first thing. The White House says it's going to pass. It's going to get passed. And it will get passed. Number two, turn out the noise. I need to go over this with you because this is very, very important. I know how a lot of viewers want to be updated to the little second and minute about everything. And I do too. Here's what turning out the noise means. I want you to know what this, understand what this is. Turning out the noise means the White House does not want Senator number 1 trash-talking Senator number 2 in the press, or Senator number 3 talking about paid leave and why it's so bad, and Senator number 4 in the press saying paid leave is really good and going after the other senator. That's called turning off the noise. He doesn't want this public feuding. Like a Godfather scene, if you have a fight in the family, you keep it in the family. You don't take it to the neighbor or the streets. You keep it in the family. You don't let anyone see a problem you're having with your brother until you take him out on the lake in Salt Lake City in the second Godfather episode. Second Godfather movie. If you saw that one, you know what happened. God forbid. He was a great character. I wish they had not done that. But, it's the Godfather. So you do not do that in this administration. So what is important for you to understand is that turning out the noise can be frustrating to both reporters and viewers. Why? One, you want to know the status of every program. So is paid leave out? Is paid leave in? Is MSC out? Is MSC in? Is MSC going up? Is it going down? You won't know that if they're turning off the noise because they're keeping it quiet. And when they give you updates, we'll have an update. But other than that, you don't have the updates. Number two, it's difficult on the news reporter. So the news reporter, myself, won't be able to tell you every 10 seconds, oh, Maxine's water, $25,000 for purchase of a new home, went to $24,800. It went down $200 the last 10 minutes. I won't be able to do that for you because that's what turning down the noise is. Doesn't mean that they're not working on it. Doesn't mean they don't care. Doesn't mean I don't have an update for you because I'll find updates for you no matter where they are. But we won't have the type of details that some people want to have something changing every 10 seconds. That's what turning off the noise means, and it gets the provisions done. Let's go over all these incredible provisions of this incredible recon one at a time, and let's go over all the big sums of money that are in there in addition to that MSC. So one of the best provisions in incredible recon is the SALT cap. Currently $10,000 of what you can deduct and see in local taxes on the federal tax return. It will grow to $72,500 in the fourth stimulus recon. Big in states where taxes are a lot, like New York, New Jersey, and California, proposed by Oppenheimer. They got in there the job training, $40 billion of free job training for millions of Americans who want to take a higher paying job. Very important across the board. They got in there also the Medicaid gap fix. 12 Republican states vowed to never provide you insurance, health insurance, including Obamacare. And so the wonderful Raphael Warnock and Joe Manchin got this together, providing a workaround plan that provide years of subsidized private insurance to people that are low-income uninsured in those 12 Republican states. They got in there, finally, the housing provision, which is one of the best. You know that since last year. 2 provisions new, and the rest a repeat from third stimulus. They got in there, weatherize your home, and then home repairs if you're living in a low-income community. But the other provisions that repeat from third stimulus that are in there are incredible. Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And let's go over each of them starting right now, because guess what? You don't have to wait for fourth stimulus, because third stimulus is still paying out. Now let's take a step back when we look at third stimulus. Let's even go back before third stimulus. In April 2020, I launched this channel. And nothing I do better, nothing this channel does better, is get you money. I got viewers $25 million of EID alone, saving their businesses, their homes, and employees' homes in spring of 2020. Then I got people fortunes for PUA, FPUC, UI. In fall of 2020, I understood that people needed money. It was the holidays. And there wasn't a lot of money for rent and utilities at the time, but I got you that as well. $250,000. I said at the time, it's slated for third stimulus. I want you to learn how to get it. And when third stimulus became the law, I said, there's a $1,400 stimulus check in there, but there's a lot more than just that. I think I can get you about $15,000 from these other monies on the third stimulus. And boy, did you do well. The average viewer in spring of 2021 got $45,000 for rent, utilities, mortgages, and more from third stimulus. They listened to the videos and got another round in the summer, many viewers, and most of you got a big round of what we call Christmas stimulus. You got money in November, December last year from the same pot of money again. Average was about $15,000. It was first $7,000, then you got more and you brought it to about $15,000. I'm going to show you right now something new on Mornings LA, something new for January 2022 of how you can get more of this money further out and potentially a lot more, the most you may have gotten since over a year ago. So get your pen and paper ready. If you're a member of this channel, pull out that newsletter, follow along with the newsletter. If you're not a member, go right on this video and sign up for the membership for this channel. It pays to become a member because this is a lot of money. We're going to start first with the rent. Here we go. This was the rent from October. It has grown a lot. It's now upwards of $40,000. So where do you get the rent from? 6 places. You ready? City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 months. You must put application on file everywhere. Number 2, you must give multiple rounds. More about those rounds in a second. And you also must keep on getting applications across the board. I'm going to go over those rounds in just a second because they're very important. Utilities. You're going to say utility assistance because of COVID. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Next, you want to get SNAP. One of the real legacies of this channel. What is it? It's food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. How much? A lot. It went up 25% lifetime automatically in the month of October. And Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year. Over 10 years, he's getting $250,000. Next, you want to get combo items. Started by Nisi and Art Sullivan. They got 3 items. Mark was at 2 items. I said, Mark was your third. Brought himself from $32,000 for Mark to $50,000. Now Mark's at over $100,000. Lorraine, she was at $105. Now she's at $120. Which brings us the importance of understanding what these rounds are, and it starts right now. When you look at these rounds, we're talking about how many weeks, how many months of benefits you can get. When third stimulus became a law, you got it in spring of 2021. You may have gotten it last summer. You may have gotten it last winter for a few months. Maybe you got November, December. Now we're in January. What I want you to do is try to get as far out as possible. Shoot for May. Shoot for April. Shoot for March. I want you to get as many months as possible, number 1. Number 2, start with the organization you got the money from last time. Pick up the phone, call them. They say no, don't worry. Then we're going to lean on the nonprofits. You remember this channel, open the newsletter. The 6 nonprofits work differently than the federal government. The federal government was approved a certain amount of money for the third stimulus. And that money's still there, and when it runs out, it runs out. Nonprofits are different. Nonprofits are funded by benefactors, donations, corporate donations, and things like that. And their calendar year usually starts in January of each year. Yeah, you see where I'm getting with this. They may have only had a certain amount of money for you in December of last month, but we're in a new year. So reach and lean on them for getting those additional sums of money. Which brings us to the incredible story of Johnny. Johnny truly embodies everything about this channel. 3-part story. Part 1 of Johnny's incredible story was he was watching this channel a few months ago, and on a Monday he had 0. By Wednesday he had 45,000 from 3 programs approved. What did he do? He listened to this channel, and he got those 3 programs approved, but he didn't stop there. Because I said get as many programs approved. By the end of the week, he had 7 programs approved, 80,000. The reason why I like part 1 of the story is not so much the 80,000. It's the 7 programs. Why? Here's what's at issue. You're going to have a 50% rejection rate when you call. Just understand, it's fine. It's just how it works. So you pick up the phone today and you call and someone says no. Don't get frustrated. Don't get depressed. That's how it works. Johnny understood the messaging from me. You're going to have a 50% rejection rate. So he had to have made at least 15 phone calls to get 7 approvals. I love it. That's what you have to do as well. The more phone calls you can make, the better. Part 2 of Johnny's incredible story followed the next Monday. He told 2 family members about this channel. And they said, I never heard about this. Before I went on air about 30 minutes ago, I got a tweet from someone. And the tweet was referring to something on a cable news channel. LALATE does not own a cable news channel. And no cable news channel owns LALATE. I don't guide their programming. They don't guide this channel's programming. They cover stocks and options. This channel doesn't cover stocks and options. This channel covers rent assistance. They don't cover rent assistance. It doesn't mean one thing doesn't exist. It doesn't mean one thing does exist. It's because there's a lot of different subject matters to cover across financial news. This is now number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but number 1 on the subject matter. And what's important to understand is I'm not here to do their programming. I'm not here to write or run their newsrooms. If they don't cover it, they don't cover it. I'm not here to explain why they're not covering subject matters. This LA does not own that cable channel. And they don't want to cover it, they don't want to cover it. They want to cover the Kardashians? Good. I ain't covering the Kardashians. No disrespect to them. I'm just not. So that's what's important. By the end of the week, those 2 family members each got $50,000 by listening to the videos of this channel. Part 3 is incredible. Johnny's story came the following, about 2 weeks later. People kept on coming to Johnny saying, can you help me get that money as well? And they did. Johnny helped 32 people. Truly embodies the purple power spirit. People helping people. He helped 32 people. They became members. They became subscribers. They watched the videos. They went over the videos together. And how much money did they get? $850,000. $850,000 from 32 people being helped by Johnny, who is helped by me, who helped his family members. That's the spirit of this channel. Go right on this video right now, become a member. Become a member because this is a channel that's helping people get money, learn about money. Whether it's learning about how to buy crypto, learning about how to make money in the metaverse, learning about how to get your rent paid, learning about how to get your utility bills paid, learning about how to buffer economic issues like runaway inflation and Omicron inflation coming up later in this video. This is what this channel does. I want you part of this incredible family. And with that, let's go right back into where we left off in the 4 stimulus recon. Let's go back into those provisions we left off at the housing. So $65 per month for nutrition when a student is not in school. They got in there. $550 check for the Pell Grant for college students in there as well. Cheaper prescription medication, which is huge. Starting with 20 medications at day 1, growing to 30 medications by the year 2028. And this is the most expensive medication, like cancer, arthritis, diabetes. Insulin doses going from $1,000 to $35 across the board. Now, remember, everything that needs to be in the recon, not yet in the recon across the board, because they never got to modifying the legislation. But a lot of the provisions from third stimulus have expired. They would reinstitute them, like the CTC, the household tax credit, the earned income tax credit, my hazard pay money. All those type of provisions still need to be modified across the board. Liz Warren has stuff to be added in there. Joe Biden has stuff to add it in there. They're not done across the board. Let's turn over to fifth stimulus for a blink of an eye. Great questions on a live chat yesterday when talking about fifth stimulus. So, COLA. What is COLA? COLA is a benchmark that is used to determine how much your benefits go up. Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and things like that. It's been your benchmark for many, many years. It doesn't work. Why? Because inflation goes up and COLA doesn't move. This year was different. So COLA went up 5.9% as announced in November, December last year. So your first month of check this month will be 5.9% higher. And every month thereafter will be this higher number. You'll no longer be at the lower number. Good. But COLA doesn't work because inflation goes higher. And that's why under fifth stimulus, which has not yet gone to bill writing, but is likely in the next few days, seeking to remove COLA and replace it with inflation. Remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, remove the marriage penalty, and love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest like Rob and Sandy. I think Sandy's in the live chat right now. When you look at inflation, there's a lot to say, and I don't often pat myself on the back, but here I want to pat myself on the back. When talking about fifth stimulus and talking about inflationary projections in spring of last year, I said in spring of 2021 that inflation is likely to be 8% in December 2021. At the time, Jay Powell, the head of Federal Reserve, said 1 to 2% inflation in December 2021 as a predictor. Wall Street said 2 to 3%. I said 8%. I felt the pressure. I held it for 8% for a few weeks of coverage on this channel, and then I said, maybe I'm so high. I mean, everyone's so low. Maybe I should say 5. I brought it down to 5 for just a few days, and I said, you know what? I should not have said that. I should hold my guns at 8%. U.S. Department of Labor released the inflationary numbers in December 2021 last Friday, no less than 48 hours ago. What were they? Exactly what I predicted in spring of 2021. 7.5% inflation in December 2021 last month. Exactly on point like I predicted 8%. Wow. Now, here's what you need to know. Inflation is going to not go down just yet. This was also my prediction. Jay Powell said it was going to be transitory, up and then coming back down in January. Not happening. It will go down, but not just yet. Number 2, there's another concern. And that other concern is a separate inflationary event out there. And that separate inflationary event is called Omicron. Omicron is creating its own inflationary event. Omicron, as you know, first covered on this channel on Thanksgiving weekend, is now creating its own inflationary event. By creating its own inflationary event, it's adding new inflation to the already existing inflation across the board. Omicron originating out of South Africa. Here's images of the beautiful shores of South Africa. Here's what you need to know and how this works and why it impacts your wallet really severely. Omicron is a very simple concept. It strikes a workplace and 20, 30, 40% of the workforce is out because they have Omicron. Pretty simple? Pretty simple. Okay, so what happens then? They got to have someone cover the employees who are out sick. So what do? Overtime. So who is not sick and is able to work, they have to pay them overtime. It costs money to pay overtime. Or they have to bring in temp help, temporary employees. They have to pay extra money for the temporary employees. How does the business afford this? The way the business affords this is passing the buck to you. So the loaf of bread is no longer $3, it becomes $4 because they got to pay for overtime to cover for those missing employees. Omicron is impacting your wallet, groceries, gasoline. It is a new inflationary event. It is its own inflationary event. It adds to the existing inflation, and it's not going away. We're going to be tracking Omicron. We're going to be tracking this inflationary concern. Inflation is not caused by the Build Back Better Act or the recon. It's not. And Omicron is not going away. Meantime, I don't think I've ever covered anything like this before on this channel. It's covered on Afternoons LA today at 3 o'clock, but I want to touch on it for the first time on Mornings live right now. There is an old adage for purposes of financial news. Buy on the rumor, sell on the news. Meaning you react on the rumor, but then you understand the news and the news is different. For example, let's say they're going to cancel an Olympics and there's a rumor about it, but it's not confirmed. So you may move your financial position based upon that rumor. And then if the news is that, no, they're keeping the Olympics where they are, they're not canceling it, then you change your position based upon the news. I believe and I predict that there's going to be a major rumor and news event in the next 60 days. And which is it? Vladimir Putin and Ukraine. I believe in the next 60 days, you're going to hear a major rumor and then potential news right behind it about Vladimir Putin threatening to invade Ukraine. Now, he may not invade it, but the rumor will cause financial markets to pivot. And when I say pivot, I'm being very soft about it. They may crash. Crypto may crash. Stocks may crash. Bond markets may crash. We may have a major event, and it may just be a rumor. It may just be troops at a border, and then they don't do anything. And then the news thereafter is it didn't materialize. This rumor and news, I believe, is going to happen in the next 60 days. Be ready for it. It will impact your wallet, whether it is stocks, bonds, cost of goods sold, inflationary currents. It is a very serious threat. It is more serious than even Omicron at the moment. Meantime, we have a lot of shows coming up later today. A brand new Afternoons LALATE show is at 3 o'clock. It's a great show. It's just taped minutes ago. Then we have Evenings LALATE, and we have 4 Evenings LALATE shows now. And you've been loving them. There is the Evenings LALATE brand new at 5 o'clock. The Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. The brand new show called Home, Street and Stimulus at 7 o'clock. And then Evenings Extra at 8 o'clock. Our overnight shows have been rebranded as still overnights LA, but easier for you to figure out where they are. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30. And then our morning shows before early mornings are now called Sunrise LA. 3 and 3:30. We go into early mornings LA at 4, and then mornings countdown at 7, and then mornings LA, which you're watching live on air at 9 a.m. Coming up next is Noontime. Based upon scheduling, I don't know if it'll be new or if it'll be live. Trying to sort of get into the groove of everything. Let me jump in the live chat and just say hello to everyone and see who's in there. And let's see who is there. There's Joanne. There's Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi. Colleen, how are you? There's Evelyn. And there is Kangaroo and Rob Knowles and Margaret. And there's Shirley Parker. And there's Julie and Lynn Glenn. And there is John Thompson. Hey, Ann. And there's Sandy. Hey, Sandy. There is, who is that? Rosa. Hey, Rosa, how you doing? And a lot of people in the live chat. Wow, there's a lot of people watching right now. There is off to watch some football, says Bob Bacon. Who are you going to watch? Is the wild card weekend? I'm trying to get caught up on everything, so I'm not caught up on my football either, Bob. But I think it's a wild card weekend. There's Double C. Hey, Double C. Here's Rob Snyder. There's Shirley Lewis. Does New Orleans play? Shirley, do the Saints play? What time do the Saints play? Now you're going to cause me reason not to record because I'll be watching the Saints. Hey, New Orleans, I'm Lake Charles. Oh, Lake Charles is gorgeous, just gorgeous. Bob doesn't say who's going to watch us yet on the football games. There's Dreaming of Vegas. Hey, how are you? And there is Rob Schneider, Melissa, and who else is in the live chat? Warren, Julie, and anyone else I missed. Trying to zoom through here and best as I can. And there's Colleen. We love you so much. Love you as well. Thank you for all your incredible comments on social media and trying to get to all of them one at a time. And one of the things you can do me a favor is if you are anywhere on social media or in live chats, tell people I'm back. Some people don't realize I'm back because there are some encore shows. And they're like, so when are you back on camera? I'm like, I've been back on camera for a few days. They don't realize it. So if you could tell them, yeah, he's already been back. Watch for the poinsettia plants. You see the set is starting to change a little bit. It's starting to morph a little bit. Camera angle has been fixed overnight. Things are coming back into shape. Light is in better setup. Got to bring in some orchids. So getting things back in the groove, but still missing bacon. Still missing the bacon. Have a beautiful morning. I want you to subscribe, like the video, tell people to comment over. Why are they watching anything but LA? Number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. Next stop, number 2. Coming up next is Noontime LA, whether it's new or live. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LA for more.